Hello, everybody. Welcome to a special edition of the Daily Sib. Having said there would be no more Daily Sibs, I've got one today and one tomorrow, and they're both special editions. Today, I can't wait to get stuck into this actually because I've been involved with Rich and Mark and the guys at Access Rating for a while. But as always, there's a lot goes into these new projects and initiatives behind the scenes. I think we had a chat, Rich. But what, a couple of months ago was it when you came on the Daily Sib?
Yeah, and we were talking. I think we were talking about mental health, and we touched on access rating in terms of kind of what we were up to at the time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but it was quite behind the scenes for a while. Well, yeah, it's getting the app built, getting the app changed, and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's going to be great today for me to get a bit of a catch up on the last week or two because I know a lot's gone on in literally the last week or two. But also for everyone watching, I think it'd be a great time, as we were just chatting before, to really double down on what access rating is, who it's for, what the broader benefits are in a societal and a disability community way. I think it's going to be a great opportunity to get stuck into those kind of topics. But of course, the big news is there's a crowdfunding campaign live, right?
yeah. So that's where the last 2 weeks of, well, actually a bit longer.
That's been the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's been last sort of week and a half since it's launched. But yeah, we've been working very hard to get this crowdfunder off the ground. And you know, it's one of those things where we were kind of going sort of full head of steam, going forward with it, getting everything done, and then obviously the pandemic hits, and like any other enterprise, organization, business, whatever, it obviously affects you. So we had to obviously review our strategy, and it came about that the crowdfunder was going to be the way that we can propel ourselves into 2021 and get all these projects off the ground that obviously are really key to access rating, aside from just the app, which obviously is something that a lot of people just relate access rating to, the customer reviews app.
Yeah, and I think, sort of said at the beginning about an opportunity to clarify, just communicate really clearly the different levels of benefits and opportunities for people to get involved in being a part of this new initiative, really, because as you said, it's very much, a community initiative, and you want others to get involved in the evolution and the momentum, and not just with the crowdfunding, but with all sorts of other ways as well. And I know with every project and social enterprise, like there's an idea, and you go out with the sort of first product, and you go out with the first marketing, and you learn a ton yourself, but you get that feedback from the marketplace, from the community, from the world. And so I'd imagine, like, for you guys, there's been a lot of that this year, that sort of you know what you're doing and very unwavering on it, but like kind of been able to tailor things and get things clearer in your own mind, but in a marketing sense. So just give us like the elevator pitch. Like what do you say when someone says, what is access rating? What do you say it is?
So the key thing to start with is that access rating is a social enterprise. So it's put in place to not only improve disabled access, but also improve in the employment opportunities for disabled people in the UK.
Yeah.
In terms of the disabled access point, we have the app, which is very much a user-led product, and it's for basically people to submit disabled access reviews. At the start, it was hotels, bars, and restaurants, and then with a lot of feedback coming through, we've then decided let's go full Google integration and get everything on there. So now it is pretty much all venues. And then the other part of it is we've got a disabled access auditor, Jignesh, who's also one of the co-directors, and he is going to be helping businesses to obviously improve their disabled access by going out into the field and doing access audits. And then the other part of it in terms of employment is our work with special educational needs and disability schools. So what we're looking at doing, or what we've started, is a pilot scheme with a school called Ashfield Academy in Leicester, where we're basically looking at providing placements, employment opportunities, confidence building classes. And we've started those projects just at the beginning of this year, and they've started to go very well. Fantastic feedback from the students. As things expand, we'll be able to then introduce things like entrepreneurship programs, apprenticeship schemes, and work with other businesses to integrate them into the SEND schools, so their recruitment process is looking at the field of talent that's within these special educational needs and disability schools. So very much Access Rating in a nutshell, built by the disabled community for the disabled community. Sounds quite cliche, but literally that is what it is. We're building it together. We're getting as many voices involved, and we're also trying to our best to actually give those voices a platform to actually show what they need. We're 3 or 4, including yourself as an advisor, wheelchair users, and we want to help as many people as possible. So there may be points further down the line where we can try and expand this and support people with visual impairments, hidden disabilities, hearing impairments, and so on. But I think the key message is we're a work in progress. We started in February. We've made huge ground.
Yeah.
But the key now is, keep giving us that feedback, keep telling us what you need, and we'll do our best to work on that. And we've been collaborating with so many people. It has been fantastic at the fact that we've been able to collaborate with so many, and that everyone's got lots of different ideas, which is what we're all about. We can't just build it based on, obviously as a disabled person, I know it's not all about wheelchairs. It's about lots of different things, and it's a very complex topic. So we're going to need help along the way, and we feel that if we can grow it together, we're going to be in a stronger position in the future to actually make a difference.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Well put. There's been some phenomenal sort of cartoony pictures going up of the 4 of us, which have got more and more bizarre over the weeks, which I love. I think I've been a Viking and a sort of what was it, rock, some kind of metal rock star or whatever it was. Yeah, which is who did the drawings, by the way? I meant to ask you this.
The drawings were actually through a website that we got them, so we got them done. So basically, send them a picture and they do them for you. But the actual edits to them were done actually by me, on a few the systems on camera. And I've basically just tried to be as creative as possible. I'd say I'm kind of the big idea generator, and with Mark Esho, who's also our CEO, he kind of has to kind of reel me in a little bit. So I'll come up with these ideas, and some they fly and they're great, some a little bit.
You've got the legal contract ready, that isn't going to work.
Maybe not that one, but
yeah,
it's all about showing our personalities in what we're doing, and I think that's the key thing as well, showing that human aspect of we're 3-4 disabled people with jobs outside of this access rating side of things, and we're kind of real humans trying to make a real difference. And
I think that sort of the images are phenomenal. Anyone watching, I'd definitely say have a look at Access Rating or at Rich and Mark's social channels, and I've shared a couple as well over the time, but generally just find these images because they're really, as you say, Rich, they bring out the human side, and not just the human side of us but also just generally the world can get a bit serious, and they sort of talk about social enterprise and app and sort of creating a future for disabled people, all very important, very valid things. But I guess it's that having a bit of fun and a bit of a laugh is really important, particularly the app is about getting out and having fun, isn't it? So it sort of resonates with that kind of narrative and that kind of content. So just everyone watching, definitely, if you haven't already, check out those cartoons. They're fantastic. But as you sort of say, some people might see for males or for wheelchair users and say, oh, so is it not for women or is it not for other impairments? And it's like, well, this is the U3 of the founding team. I've got involved as a strategic advisor, but it's not about that first part of who created it. It's by the community, for the community. So it's really important, just to reiterate your message for everyone watching, that it, rather than feel aggrieved if you see that, it's actually get in touch, because there's a total plan to have all genders, all impairments, on and on and on, to be a part of it. It's just the beginning, isn't it, Rich?
Yeah, and we've recently took on a communications officer, Jess O'Brien, who's used to be the president of the Disabled Student Union at Cambridge,
Right.
And she's come on and supported us. And we were three males that have obviously started this process, but we very much want to include everyone. And I think, and I understand people's concerns. At the end of the day, representation is key, as we know, people with disabilities. So we're glad people have come in and said these things, because the great thing we can tell you is they're in our plan, and everyone is in our plan to build it.
You have to start somewhere, right?
Yeah, and you've got to start somewhere with an idea. A group of friends getting together, coming up with an idea, starting to make it, making it happen. And then, at that point, you start to need, you do need help. And there's nothing wrong with asking for help. There's nothing wrong with, obviously, a big thing is listening to your community, and not just doing things because it seems a good idea to you, doing it because actually someone that's experiencing something is coming to you and saying this would make it better. So yeah, I think there's so much scope for people to work with us. As I say, it's already started. There's so many people constantly getting in touch, which is fantastic, and they've all got various different ideas as to how we can build things and what involvement they could have, which is fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll touch very briefly on the app, because for me, I think it'd be good to talk a bit more about the social enterprise model and some of those initiatives that you're working on that I think don't always, again, it's all about as things evolve, you get more opportunity to talk about everything. So we'll come on to that and talk a bit more in depth in a minute. But just on the app, I mean, what's the sort of latest? You've had a few iterations, haven't you? And you mentioned that you're doing more of a sort of all venues rather than just cafes and restaurants. But is there any general news or updates on the app side particularly?
Yeah, so with the app, we obviously started with it using a database, and that was hotels, bars, and restaurants. So it was going to be very much hospitality based. But from when we've had focus groups and feedback, we've decided we've basically heard from people that have said, I think we need a few more things on there. After a while, we thought, right, this has got to be done. So we pushed that forward. We were going to be doing that sort of next year. But we decided that, it was important at this time, while we're trying to get as many users, obviously, on this app as possible, that we start to add more venues. So we've added more venues. We've obviously got the geolocation, which has been put in, so it enables you to find places that have been rated that are close to you, so you can read the reviews. So, from where I sit here, I can see the places, that are sort of down the road from me, and have a look at the reviews if they've had them. And the other thing we've done is we were trying to work out a way of kind of filtering things, because what we found was that everything just needed kind of fine tuning. So we added filtering where you could filter what rated places you wanted to see locally. So you can now choose between pubs, bars, hotels, restaurants, so on and so forth, and that will expand on that filtering system. And then we've also added something that we decided to do called filter by mobility needs. So you can basically, as a user now, when you register, and existing users also get this option to add on, You can basically register and say like you're a power chair user or you're a manual wheelchair user. There is sort of a other section as well. We're looking eventually to expand that area, but we need to do quite a bit of research beforehand as to how we do that. But basically it'll enable a user to then go on to a hotel they want to go to and filter it by the type of user that you are. Because for me, if I see a review from a somebody like, for example, yourself in a power chair, it will be very different to how I'm going to have my experience in a manual chair. So that's why we kind of did that, and I think that actual concept will expand as well as we learn. So a lot of the things we put in, it's very much, we put them in because of feedback, and then we learn off what we've put in there, of, again, more feedback to then develop it further. And I think that's kind of a process which enables us to, in essence, try to create that perfect, if there is such perfect app, people can, submit reviews on. And then it's obviously the process further down the line is how do we use the power of that information to make that change? And that's where kind of we've obviously agreed from the start, it's a very much a trust pilot concept. So it's very much about users having the power, and then us as a team going out and actually using that power to make that change. And obviously we're working out different ways of how we can do that as we move forward. And again, it's all about collaboration, all about people getting into it, saying, you know what, this might be the option, and getting that conversation started. So in terms of the app, it's had a lot of changes since the start. We've obviously, it's cost money, and now we're at a position where obviously we've gone with this crowdfunder to take it to that next level. So if we start to get more feedback, which we are already, then we can say, right, next job is this, let's expand it even more, so we can help more people.
And I'd say sort of that's where you see all the dots joining, because there's the app, because as a community we're never quite sure where to go, what's suitable, what's accessible, so we can all empower each other with the knowledge of where is accessible, not accessible. But then when there is maybe a bad or not so positive review, there's an opportunity to help that particular business in terms of improving. So then there's an audit and a general consultancy opportunity there, and that's on the business model side. That's the sort of how it can partly be sustainable in the longer run as that kicks in. But obviously you talk more about the social enterprise is a really important thing to mention. So first of all, can you explain a bit more kind of, in a way, what a social enterprise is? Because I think a lot of people have heard the word, but they're never quite sure exactly what it means. But particularly for Access Rating, what does that mean for Access Rating as a social enterprise model?
So a social enterprise is pretty much set up so, and like obviously set up at Companies House and legally set up so you can only use a very limited proportion of the profits to actually give back to, say, the directors. So the main thing is that a high proportion of the money, around 65 or more %, is actually reinvested back into it has to be reinvested back into your business or the social enterprise to then expand those projects. And it's very key that we have to almost provide, it's almost like proof to say this is what the power of this money's doing. You can't just sort of leave it there and sort of just get the benefits of the money. You have to be using this money as a way of improving the community, which is obviously all about kind of a social enterprise setting. So in terms of how we're doing that is, yes, we'll be reinvesting back into the app, of course, but it's that thing with the special educational needs schools, which was really close to all of our hearts in terms of, okay, so how do we brighten people's futures? How do we bridge the gap between businesses and young disabled people? And really in the long term, we're looking at using all our kind of skills, because me, Mark, and Jignesh, and obviously yourself, come from all different backgrounds in terms of our disabilities, in terms of like, for example, myself, I've been an assistant bank manager for nearly 13 years, so I've got experience in retail. I've also gone from having almost a hidden disability to then obviously gradually using crutches, then into a wheelchair. Mark and Jignesh both had polio, and Jignesh came from India at the age of about 18, and he had to, you know, find work, and as a young disabled person, and get involved in wheelchair basketball and all these different things. Mark, obviously, he's become a successful entrepreneur in the disability, in the marketing sense, but in, you know, from a disabled person. So we've all got these very different kind of backgrounds and experience, but I think that experience is so powerful when you kind of go into a SEND school environment and kind of say, you know, this is, you know, I've got a disability, I've got muscular dystrophy or whatever it may be, and this is what I've managed to do. And all of a sudden you can just see the light bulb effect. It's just in terms of ding, like, I can do it. And that is so much more powerful, I believe, than somebody going in that's not got that connection. And yes, okay, they can say they're a inclusive business, and they can say they're going to support the person and all these different things. But it's very much about trust, and very much, and I think from what I've found, the students just have that bit of a higher level of trust with someone that's got a disability and someone that sees it from their perspective. So we're trying to go in with a very realistic approach. You know, it's not easy out there, but we're going to help you get those skills that we've had to develop to go out into that wide world, and not just think that you've got to go home and spend the rest of your life, you know, sort of not working. We want people to be actually not just thinking, I'm going to leave a special educational needs school and have a job. We want to get people saying, I'm going to leave a special educational needs school and have a career. And that's the key part. It's about, you know, because a lot of businesses will go, oh, well, we'll give them a job. And it's like, but that's not what a human being, to you know, to actually get them to their full potential, bring out all their talents. They need a career, and that's what everybody understands that. And then they need people to give them that helping hand, which is hopefully something we can do.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. I can sort of relate as well with how you've got supporting the community, obviously the app with a very functional information provision of where is suitable to go, but the stuff you're just saying now, that kind of, yeah, the kind of advice and support and encouragement and all that side of it, but then like the societal side of helping the businesses to improve and be better and more inclusive, but obviously explaining the benefits to the business that A, if they're accessible, they'll get more customers and more revenue as well, and B, if you employ disabled people, you actually end up with employees that are resilient, loyal, you know, all the kind of skills that we've had to learn as people with a disability. So it is in the end that whole narrative we're hearing more and more lately about the value of disabled people, as obviously most of all as humans, but you know, from a blunt business perspective, it is as consumers and as talent in an employment perspective, and sort of tipping the narrative on its head, and obviously using these different products and services at Access Rating to do so. So a couple of comments coming in on there, and then we'll hear a bit about the crowdfunder before we wrap. So Gavin saying the team at Access Rating are some of the most positive, engaged, focused crew I know. No doubt at all they will be leading this field and providing amazing service in no time at all. So big accolades from Gavin there, Rich. And we got Chris, not seen these cartoons, so this will be my first job this afternoon. And then Chris said, will you be rating universities? I've already started this process, but I do feel that this is more for your projects and would be happy to help this along. So yeah, what's the deal with universities, Rich?
So obviously we've started working with a communications officer who's obviously got that experience of working in a disabled student union
Yeah.
at Cambridge, and she's got lots of kind of contacts within kind of the universities in general, and the people that are working, to make disability on the agenda at these various universities. But I think we've probably, I mean, to be fair, I think the way to say it is really anything is open. So it's like, yes, could we rate universities? Yes. Currently,
You need the community to do it, right?
yeah. I mean, you need to get out there and do it. Universities isn't something that has perhaps been on the agenda from the start, but it's something we've certainly been looking into, because at the end of the day, I think what it comes down to is we're looking at access to employment when we're talking about our work with the SEND schools. And then there's the bigger picture beyond that, access to education, which is something that people, I think I've seen people touch on when they've been on the Daily Sib, talking about their experiences at Pippa, that was talking about her experiences at university. And there's obviously a big piece there in terms of, okay, so what platform are we giving these like young disabled people to build their education and their skills to then come out into this world of employment? So yeah, there's definitely work we can do with certainly with universities, and there's definitely kind of that bigger picture of employment, education. It's all kind of connected. So by all means, get in touch.
You said, I agree, it must be community driven as well. Cool. Well, yeah, was there anything else you wanted to mention on the show before we give the URL and the crowdfunding info?
Yeah, so I think I'll go into detail on the crowdfunder.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So everyone's got the information of kind of what our goals are. So
yeah, that's really good.
So we're looking to raise a figure of £40,000, which is a huge feat for us. We've decided that we're going for it. We're going to really scale this project and access rating up, and propel it into 2021. And we've got big plans, so we want to get the business together and a crowd together to build it with us. We realise that at the moment, obviously, with the pandemic and things, that money isn't is a bit tight for a lot of people, and businesses also are finding it hard. So what we did was we decided we were definitely going to have a rewards page on our crowdfunder, which would enable people to make donations and support and be part of the journey, but also get something back in return, which may help them or help them win something, which I'll just go into for you now. So we've put on our crowdfunder 2 raffles. So if you are to pay a £5 donation, you get put in a raffle to win a 4-course meal for 2 with wine and prosecco at Zzz's, which you can take up pretty much at any Zzz's around the country. And then we've also got a £10 raffle, which is for a luxury champagne hamper, which has got not only the champagne, but lots of lovely treats in there as well. There is a picture on our social media, which was just put up yesterday. So by all means, you can take a look. But I mean, those raffles, both of those raffles, you've got a 1 in 200 chance of winning. So really good odds, to be fair. Some raffles, you're never sure what the odds are going to be, but this is going to be 1 in 200. And if you buy more tickets, obviously your odds are going to, can get considerably better. So that's part of it. If you were to donate £15 to the crowdfunder, you will get a Leicester Riders basketball ticket in return. Obviously, us being Leicester based, this is why it's the Leicester Riders. But if you can get to the Leicester Riders, then £15 and you get a ticket. We're also happy to give people group tickets and get you seated together. We'll do the best we can. Obviously, with the basketball side of things, we don't know when the season's going to start. So we'll have that as very much an open door to make sure that people can go. We also have, for the Leicester Riders, again, basketball, a hospitality package. So you'll get parking, you'll get a 2-course meal. You'll get with and it's for 4 people, so you're going to get a 2-course meal. You're going to get free drinks 5 till 7 o'clock. You're going to get some snacks after the game. You'll meet the players. You'll be in the kind of hospitality lounge. You'll get to watch the game with courtside seats and get that full VIP experience. The price on that is £300, but that's split between 4 people enjoying a night out. We've said that might be something useful for businesses if they want to take some guests out.
Yeah.
Again, you might want to be Midlands based, but you also might want to travel, because Leicester Riders are quite a big team in the UK. They've won a lot of championships, and it is. I go a lot, and it is a good night out.
Yeah.
Also, we're offering some good packages for businesses now. So we're offering any business that wants to have their logo on our website as a supporter. If you make a £50 donation, we'll put your logo on with your link, so people will get an instant, just a click, and they'll go straight to your website. There's only 20 available. There's 16 now left, because we've had some people join us and support us, which is fantastic. So yeah, business logos. If you want some marketing and also want to support us, then do let us know, or go on to our crowdfunder and obviously submit the reward. We have access audits. We have virtual access audits, which would be basically businesses that aren't too bothered about somebody coming and physically being there, but for someone to actually FaceTime with them and go around their building and just give them a general overview of access. It'd also come with an access audit report. The price on that one is £200. But again, it's like I say, it's set up for an SME business. There's also a £500 option for a full access audit for an SME business. There's a limited amount of those available. As we know, sort of within the disabled community, £500 is a real cut price on the average price of a disabled access audit. So we want to be able to help as many businesses as possible. Again, it might not be something you want to do kind of next month, but it might be something that you want to pay for and then use in the next 6 months. We're quite open to chat. This is probably the biggest one. We are actually looking for people who want us to take a stake in access rating. So we're looking for people who want to make a social investment. So if you want to take up it's 1% or up to 4% stake in access rating as a social investment, you would it'd be £850 per percent. And you can take up to 4%. So that's a real big one for kind of social investors that want to be a bigger part of this journey. I'll give you some details in a moment of how people can get in touch about that, because obviously before you part with that, you might want to. And then finally, we're asking for 4 sponsors between now and the end of 2021. So you will be on the app, which is currently getting lots and lots of hits, and you'll also be on the website as well as our core sponsor. We're looking at kind of scaling things up in 2021. Got big ambitions to hopefully be fighting for 20,000 users. We're going to be having a really big PR and marketing push. We want to have the top 10 venues for accessibility per town and city. And we also want to have big ambition to do 50 disabled access audits if we can, to obviously help with revenues to really propel us. So that's really it in a nutshell in terms of the crowdfunder. One thing I haven't mentioned today was that actually at the weekend we actually we were actually finalists for an award. So really happy to say that we're finalists for the East Midlands Chamber of Commerce Award for Community Impact in our local area. So we're incredibly proud of that, because we only ran since February, and we're already making that impact. So big message from me, Mark, Jignesh, obviously yourself, is be part of the journey. Let's grow it and let's be proud of it. I mean, I'd love it. I'd love it myself, in however many years, for us to look back and actually people to say, do you remember the crowdfunder? I donated £5, and look where we are. We're actually giving up real opportunities to people, and I think that's the big thing. There's a really bigger message behind all of this, and I think that goes for every business or every social enterprise where they're kind of talking about disabled access. We've worked with so far. We've been talking to Gavin at Welcome App and Neatbox. We've been talking to Rob Trent. We've been having in conversation with Accessible and various other places, and from every single person, what you hear is that at the heart of everything is people. And I think that's kind of the bigger thing, is that people have always come in and said, how are you going to collaborate with this and this? And we're very open. We want to collaborate. We want to make a big change, and as we all know, we're going to need people on board to do that. So let's build the crowd. Let's get you on the crowdfunder, and hopefully we can look back in a few years and say we've made this achievement together.
Agreed. And where can people head to the crowdfunder?
Yeah, so at the top of our Facebook page, there's the crowdfunder link.
And the Facebook page is Access Rating, right?
Access Rating page, and the group is actually the top post,
right.
Pinned to the top. We've also got on our Instagram, it's in the bio at the top. If you're struggling with that, then just go to crowdfunder.co.uk and type in Access Rating, and you'll see it come up as Accessible and Inclusive Futures. Have a read of the story. We've spent a lot of time working on it. You'll see some great pictures of Martin, and I think there's one of me with a unicorn, and I'm not joking. So it'd be great for you to see that and see what we've done, and hopefully get on board. But if money's tight, then like, share, comment, do whatever you can to help us. But if you can be part of the crowdfunder, it would be fantastic.
Yeah, really well said, mate. And obviously, my both mentioned my involvement as sort of strategic advisor is not day to day, and so I know I can speak from a slightly inside but a little bit more outside perspective, as I think the three of you have got such big hearts. You want to make such a big impact for disabled people. You've got the creativity, you're dressing yourself up as a unicorn is wicked. And
I think my latest one is the Greatest Showman and also a clown. So we if you want to laugh as well, then obviously
exactly. That's so important. But and I think it's very busy. There's a lot to do. There's a lot to keep learning and adapting, particularly with COVID. But I hope this sort of really helps show the community watching that it's a chance to be part of something that's going to create a legacy, and we need the community to get involved in it. It's not a top-down hierarchy, it's an everyone come together, it's collaboration. So I think that message has come through loud and clear, which I think is really important for everyone watching, that we've all got an individual responsibility to help this realize its potential by all doing our bit as a whole community. So I think just great work, mate. Keep doing what you're doing. It's exciting to see where it's all heading as well. How can people get most easily in touch with you?
So you can either contact myself, rich@accessrating.com, or you can send an email to accessratinguk@gmail.com. Drop us an email through, and we will obviously get back to you as soon as we can. But I'm glad the message hopefully has come across about this thing of building it together, and making a difference together, and let's go for it.
Cool. And Gavin, just to finish us off, said, keep up the great work, team. The future is bright. Don't let up. And that is it. It's, nothing great and big happens in a day or overnight. It is going to be a lot of hard work and plugging away. But just keep going. And I can already see the momentum. So really good stuff. And thanks for coming on the show today as well, mate.
No problem. I look forward to the weekly SIB.
Yes.
Coming soon.
I'm back tomorrow for one that we're with Inclusion Scotland, and it took months to get in the diary. So I'm doing back to back today and tomorrow. But yeah, as mentioned last week, it's going to be the weekly sib and some shaking up of the format and some new ideas. So yeah, onwards and upwards in that respect as well.
Perfect.
All right. Thanks a lot for everyone watching. Great with your comments and get in touch. Please do give what you can, even if it's a $5. Just give what you can to the crowdfunder. Some amazing stuff happening at Access Rating. And have a great Monday. I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.